The question about the NCAA, I love it. And here's the $1 million question. Is Penn State's dominance good or bad for wrestling? And that is so debatable. And you know the case that I could really make? I mean, I could really strongly, they could put this on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They could break into Sports Center. The greatest fight in NCAA right now is for number 2 in wrestling, and you just can't get a headline out of that. Like, people are just not impressed. If they understood what Oklahoma State was doing, if they understood, and now we do, how damn loaded Manning is, just for example, if they understood what Sean Bourmet is willing to pay, or the fact that Coach Ryan, if anybody, Coach Ryan is not willing to concede this thing. You got Cornell coming up. You got Popolizio keeps pulling magic. I mean, it's that number 2 through 9 of the NCAA is the greatest competition in the world right now. If you were to start betting back and forth, like the one that the lines would move and nobody really would know until the final moment, that number 1 spot, though, is boy, they're good. I don't know a time in my life, in any sport, you identify who number 1 is. You then, by proxy of being number 1, don't let them compete. You're forced to put in number 2. They would win the Nationals. Mm-hmm. If you took out number 1 and 2 and you could only put up number 3, they might win the Nationals. But there's no other sport you could say that. There is no basketball. There's no swim team with third stringers that just might win the Nationals. It's not like that. That's how good these guys are.
Yeah, and it's as daunting of favorites as you've seen with like Alabama football or some of these basketball teams. You never go into the tournament knowing factually there's basically nothing that can happen to change the ultimate result that they're going to win. On their worst day for all 10 of those guys, there was just no scenario they were going to lose. And so it is unique. And, you know, I wrestle with it. I don't think that you can say that the net positive of Penn State outweighs the lack of drama around the NCAA
really?
team. Yeah, of course. You don't agree with that?
Tell me more. No, I don't not agree. I've actually wondered my own opinion, so I'm happy to take yours, but strengthen it a little bit.
Sure.
How does that help? If we can't sell out arenas in Corvallis because of the dominance of Penn State, tell me how we're helping the country.
Well, I would say, one, just the overall, how that team and how that program has wrestled, I think has changed the view of wrestling and preparation of wrestling and how people, appreciate it, right? And they've done a little bit of destigmatizing, maybe, whether it's true or not, like the, run through a brick wall, everything's hard, everything's, win or die type of mentality. I think that's resonated with a lot of people. They wrestle with you think about the 2011 through 18-19 era. These guys were just scoring kind of at unprecedented clips with certain individuals. It was a unique. Remember it seemed insane in 2011 that one team could have 2 bonus point machines, David Taylor and Ed Ruth. It's like, how did this happen? Like, people, it just didn't even make sense to people. And then they did it. Then they had 3 with Zane, Nolf, and Nickel. And that's not even mentioning Mark Hall and Vincenzo Joseph on that team, right? And then they have a 4-time champ and a 5-time champ. So I think they've raised the overall level of wrestling, right? Would you not say that that's true? And there's benefit to that, right? Now there's no, and I would say it's only very recently where it's been a foregone conclusion every single year. 2011, they barely won Big Tens. 2012, they ran away with it. 13 could have been Oklahoma State, could have been Minnesota. 2014 could have been Oklahoma State or Minnesota. They've had to, it's been in the balance. Now, it may not be, it's not going to be this year either, but I think that's going to come back around again too. So I think Chael and company have done a net positive overall for the sport. I don't think that can be debated. Are there negative aspects to it? Yeah.
It would not be fair if you and I sat here and bashed them for their success. At a minimum, that wouldn't be fair.